Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andrew Spanyi. I'm the editor at Cognitive World, and I am delighted to be joined by Dr. Set today to talk about AI and a process lens, looking at AI differently. Dr. Set, so great to see you. How are you doing today?
Great to be here, and thank you for this exciting opportunity for us to discuss a very important topic.
Well, thank you for participating. You know, as we've discussed before, there's a recent MIT report that says that 95% of Gen AI projects fail. And this is in line with the CIO report last year that said 90% of AI projects fail, and an IDC report that said about 80% of projects fail. And that's pretty dismal track record. What are your thoughts? Why is the performance so dismal in AI? Why are there so many pilot projects and so few scale to operations?
Yeah, great. And I've seen those reports, and you will see also explanations why AI projects are failing. I mean, some of it deal with the data, and some of it deal with learning. The AI systems do not learn, hyped expectations. So there are a number of reasons they give, but I don't think they go to the core reasons why AI projects are failing. Some of them are succeeding, by the way. We have
Yes.
that 5% that they're really getting value. And we've been through this dance before, Andrew, haven't we? We've seen
Oh,
it, when intelligent databases were the hype, intelligent business processes were the hype, and then it fizzled, right? It didn't even go through a, plateau of productivity, it just fizzled. And now we're going after the next shining ball, which is AI.
right.
By the way, let me give you an example from my experience. I worked for a company called MCC, which was in the United States answer to the Japanese fifth generation project. And there were several units. One of them was intelligent databases, one of them was AI. This is in the middle 80s, right? And I remember a presentation by the person who was running it. And he said, this thing is so great. One evening, I let the AI run, and in the morning I came, it had discovered number theory. I mean, that is ridiculous, right? I mean, number theory, I have a master's in mathematics. It's a huge, complex area, but that shows sort of the hype. I was telling you today, I saw an article saying 50 AI tools that will enable you to improve efficiency 10x, right? And if you look at the AI tools, there are video and chatbots and meeting tools, etc. So there is a very huge problem. When I I worked in the both intelligent database and intelligent business process, and one of the things we realized is that there was a lot of bottom-up technology-oriented approaches in business process management.
Yeah.
And that was wrong. It's not just you get this technology, like take AI, all these tools, did 50 tools, and somehow your efficiency improved. That doesn't work that way. You have very much to have a competency center, a top-down approach with governance, learning methodology, and deciding which technologies to use and which not to use. That is not easy. I spend a lot of time on that. And I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly in organizations trying to deploy intelligent business process management solution. And I'm seeing exactly the same thing happening with artificial intelligence. So that is, and we don't have a lot of time. There is a lot behind what I'm saying. It is very complicated. And I've seen even organizations have COEs, but they don't fund them. They don't empower them. We were
Yes.
discussing earlier, organizations are hierarchical. Still they are. Despite all the modernization, there are layers and layers and layers of especially large organizations, of organizational hierarchy. Whereas what is happening from the touch point of the customer to its fulfillment is horizontal. And one of the things I used to go and say, like, okay, that it's horizontal, you're leveraging different technologies in these business units. Who owns that horizontal value stream or value chain or process?
Yep.
And no one owns it. And
Yep.
that's the problem. Yeah.
That's a really good point. I mean, certainly the tool-driven approach is not working at all. And organizations don't understand that workflows horizontally across the organization. So a process lens can be useful in improving the results from AI projects. In fact, the MIT report says that two of the big problems with how organizations are treating AI right now is weak data and underinvestment in processes, right? So there's a lot of research that says, you know, a process lens might be helpful. And in fact, it can be used to clarify objectives and expose inefficiencies and look at the end-to-end processes, not these tiny ones. Now, what are your thoughts about this so-called center of excellence? How might that work to help improve performance with AI projects?
Yeah, the Center of Excellence has several, and if there is interest from the audience, by the way, we can have a much deeper analysis of this. You know, as I was sharing, I've written the BPM Center of Excellence Manifesto and then worked on Digital Transformation Center of Excellence. It has several pillars. One is enablement, okay? You will see in these reports of AI projects failing the lack of learning. Interestingly, what is happening now, it's not only the lack of learning by the humans, but also lack of learning by the automated robots through AI, right? They
Yes.
keep making the same mistakes again and again. You know, I use it all the time. By the way, I use many tools, and sometimes it's humorous how it renders what I'm trying to ask through my prompts. So it doesn't learn. So data is, as MIT report identifies one problem, a lack of learning. So the enablement means that the Center of Excellence is responsible to teach both the AI and the humans who are participating in, as you said, end-to-end processes. I, by the way, prefer also the term value chain because different units and value chain. And one thing I really like that instead of process is that a chain is as strong as its weakest link. It's an incredible principle. And so processes, if you have visibility of that value chain, it's just the technology to digitize and automate it using AI. So the enablement on the tools, on the thinking, on the approach, and teaching what this AI is, not necessarily the algorithms of large language models, etc., the technology, but the enablement of a new way of doing things where, you know, AI, increasingly agent AI and humans are collaborating to satisfy business objectives. That hasn't gone away. You know, you go back to those two principles that we had in business process management, efficiency and effectiveness, lean and Six Sigma. They haven't gone away. We still have to deal with waste. We still have to deal with consistency and quality. Now you have AI helping you. So you have to have that enablement of this thinking of let's look at our internal operations, how AI can be leveraged there and getting rid of waste and doing things better. And let's also look top down at the customer touch points. And Andrew, there is a very interesting, there are studies on this, that if you clean up what you're doing inside the organization, your customer experience will improve. It's like I use the example of a restaurant. So what's happening in the kitchen, you don't see it. So there are
Right.
different technologies, if you like, they're leveraging the kitchen. But if you do things right in the kitchen, the experience of the customer, how you deliver food and the quality of food will improve. So that is the enablement. That's one of the pillars. The other one is methodology. Design thinking didn't disappear, right? Agile
Right.
didn't disappear. Continuous improvement. So you have your KPIs and say, okay, we're gonna reduce, let's say, account opening by 30%. You have to have goals. If you don't have goals and objectives, right, you will fail. If
Yep.
you cannot say, I just use these technologies, everything. No, what are you trying to improve? That's the concept you had. You articulated very well the top-down thinking. What are your KPIs? Are you cutting costs, improving quality? What are you doing? And then when you do it, you do leverage the technologies. Often you do not meet those goals. In fact, I've never seen somebody say, we're going to reduce costs, let's say by 30%, and they meet it. No, it might be 10%. It might be 15%. Then you say, what went wrong? And you continuously improve. So there is the design thinking, there is the agile as you're implementing and continuously improving. That's the methodology. And the
Yep.
third pillar is governance. Governance, you need representatives. I usually use this tug of war illustration. On the one hand, you have businesses and say, we're losing. The competition is having our lunch, etc. And so they want to innovate fast. They want to go into new markets. And then there is the other side, which is usually typically the CIO IT side, is that, well, we have to do this innovation, but we have to do it right. There is security concerns, there are performance concerns, fault tolerance concerns, etc. So they are doing the right things, and there is also doing the things right. So there is a tension between this. Even today, majority of the time AI spends is on maintenance, not
Yes.
innovation, whereas the business wants innovation. Well, add the dimension of AI to all of that, to this tension between doing things, innovating, and doing things right. So that is the responsibility of the governance of that, the participants, the empowerment of that, of the Center of Excellence. And I still have not found the right term. I'm seeing terms like AI MVP. Okay, MVP, which MVP, minimum viable product, which one should you implement first?
Right.
Now we're seeing the AI generation of that. So do the MVP. So that's the responsibility of the Center of Excellence to do the governments where to start, which to try first, how to enable, and what methodologies to use.
Yep. Yep. Well, that's very interesting. And, I fully endorse this, your perspective of looking at business horizontally instead of vertically. We're actually horizontally in addition to vertically. And your thoughts about how a process view can clarify objectives and magnify inefficiencies is right on the money. So if someone wants more information, Dr. Set, from you, how can they best contact you?
Yeah, I have a consulting practice, although I do many things, khoshconsulting.com. If you'd send an email to setrag@khoshconsulting.com, you can get in touch with me, or you can get in touch with me through you.
Yes, or Cognitive World has your profile and the link to your LinkedIn profile.
Yes.
But thank you so much for joining us today, and really appreciate your thoughts. Have a wonderful day.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.